he used to pub a couple of years ago. Running alongside one more, he just runs at 14.68 miles an hour, but still flames pouring from the car. It's out of the car, but car flames, unfortunately.
That's the nitro spot fights, most of all the used is out of the car and completely safe. The fire group doing their job and doing
Ja, wo ist der Fahrer? Gehst du aus? Du gehst aus, ja. Ja, Scheiße. Dann sind wir ja vor. Ja,
most important thing that is out the car and absolutely the fire group doing their thing, and you've got better viewers than we have because all you can see is the smoke coming off the road.
It's playing during our basis of the massive thing. But we're very sad to have a race car being damaged like that. But as I say, the most important thing, driver out of the car. So just letting the safety crew and the fire marshals work on the car at the moment. Mark is out, Henry out of the car, he's behind the side. Running after the car there, the scoop out of the car, but the car ablaze unfortunately.
No, that's a big shame. That's a nitrous spot, folks, and most importantly, what we're using is out of the car and completely safe. The fire crew doing their job, trying to get
Just a massive thing there. But well, very sad to have a race car be damaged like that. But as you say, the most important thing, the driver out of the car.
Get him out!
That's a nitrous spot fight. Completely safe. The fire crew doing their job.
How slow are they? That's good. Too slow getting a
Straight on basis every month in but damage like that.
There's no way you can stop it.
But as you say, the most important thing, the driver out of the car.
Yeah.
Just letting the safety crew and the fire marshals work on the car at the moment. Mark's out of the car. He's by the side of the electric crew already there, just checking it out. I think he's more concerned about his car at the moment, as he looks okay. But we'll just keep quiet just for a moment. And we will hand over to the microphone in a moment. It's the right thing to do, just be quiet just for the time being.
It's going to take a long time to get. Will it damage the track?
Felt his car get a little bit sideways, so he corrected it and got a little more sideways.
You don't have to be a Raymond Beal in a Blue Max funny car to do this. You can do it in one of these too, Steve.
Oh, very easily done. The car was completely destroyed. Fourth red light, but he doesn't know it. He never saw the Christmas tree. He just stays with the throttle.
And he could have shut it off, Steve, and he had a fire at the same time. But watch the driving job he does. That Force, tremendous driver. He wants to get that car stopped, get it off to the side of the track as quick as he possibly can, and get out of it.
You know, I see drivers at the other end. It takes a minute just to get unbuckled. When they're on fire, they can do it in about 2 seconds.
But you don't want to take the seatbelts off before you come to a stop, Steve.
You ain't seen nothing yet. So you want to be a race car driver, huh?
Big fire, fast car, short track, catch net. Big trouble. Mike Dunn, worst fire we've seen. I've seen this footage 100 times on this particular day. Bad fire. There it comes. Now watch the engine, Steve. Comes out of the car, upside down. Have you ever seen anything like this in your entire life?
Who would have thought Mike Dunn could top Columbus?
Well, he sure did on this one.
And it rung his bell a little bit. He kept telling the paramedic, 1, 1.
Well, Steve, you don't see that very often. It blew the crankshaft right out of the bottom of the engine.
2 car crashes in this motor drag racing are an extreme rarity.
We've seen some bad ones. That's a bad one. I believe he lost vision. And at that time, it was too late. He was already across the track into Collins Lane. And I don't have to tell you what happened there. They both collided and pieces went everywhere.
And here is an incredible moment when the fuel tank is shredded on the guardrail post and the other driver slides through that fire. What must have been going through their mind? A nice guy named Phil Hobbs had a really bad idea.
Yeah, no rear wing for a starter. Couldn't plant the back of the car down. For some reason, he thought he could get away with that, but as you can see, he didn't.
This is one of the strangest rides I've ever seen a driver make. First of all, he's on the wrong side of the guardrail at this point.
Yes, and chopping the car up all along, as you can see, it's just tearing bits and pieces off the car. But fortunately, in that cage it's constructed, NHRA has supervised through the years. he gets away with it, comes out unscathed.
Well, it's just a wonder the way it got into the wall nose first, time after time, that he didn't suffer almost Shirley Muldowney-like injuries. He's a lucky guy. Finally for Ron Correnti in the far lane in his brand new funny car. Much like John Collins back at Baton Rouge in the incident with McCullough, Correnti had absolutely no idea that Dave Ihra had a stuck throttle and was going to try to drive right up his tailpipe.
Oh, that's a bad one. The throttle apparently was stuck, and he just couldn't do anything about it. Got out of shape, got behind the car. It sure was. The throttle apparently stuck on the car after he got over in the other lane. Real bad accident.
Everyone is vulnerable, even a great champion like Bob Glidden. Glidden in the far lane, Butchwheel near lane, the 1986 Southern Nationals. Pit to stop there at race cars. Now the first to test the effectiveness was Australian funny car pilot Gary Phillips. He just had way too much momentum and did a little high-speed rototilling. His farmer Herb White, he was okay. Now all of that comparison to what you're about to see. Don Garlett's in the near lane. Swamp Rat 30, the first car over 270. One of the first to ever flip completely over backwards. Now watch this. Nobody at the starting line knew if Don was conscious or not. When the car headed back up the track, they scattered.
The throttle was actually stuck, Steve, and finally he got the engine shut off, or it could have came all the way back to the starting line.
And Snake, the frontal aerodynamics thought to be so neat at Gainesville may have contributed to this. Once it gets at that attitude, it's like a big spoon.
That's right, Steve. Once it gets that high in the air, it gets underneath it. There's no saving it.
But if there's one thing that kind of salved the experience, Big Daddy knew he had just been really spectacular. The machine got some battle scars.
Yeah, sometimes beauty doesn't play a part in the sport, though, Steve. No matter how nice it looks, it still has to work right.
And just when it looked like it had righted itself upside down and kind of like a slut car, started running Billy Meyer with a new expression on blower explosions. As soon as you touched the throttle, so much of it, this was Spokane, Washington.
Yes, Steve, 1 week later, same thing in Englishtown, carrying the front end down in the lights, but this time it was much more serious.
At a much higher speed.
This happened to be his last ride also in a Top Fuel dragster.
Well, we think it'll be, but you never know with Don. With a funny car race that scared us. Ron Dudley was alongside you, Don Prudhomme.
And I remember this run quite well, Steve. You know, I got through the quarter mile just fine, but lo and behold, behind me, there was a tremendous fire going on. And when I got on my car and looked back at this accident, I was really, really frightened for the man.
The body stayed on the car, which, as we've said before, sometimes isn't the best thing that can happen. There was just an incredible inferno that just continued to grow and overcame Ron Dudley before he could get the car stopped.
Yeah, that's the kind of fire you don't want to be in. It's one thing when you blow the body off the car, get rid of that, but when it stays on the car and you can't get the driver out, there's problems.
Dudley unconscious. They raised him out of the car into a helicopter. Number from the Texan after that 493 and 88 in Houston. What they got was this. An oh my God, upside down backwards flip. Eddie Hill was okay. And Don, as we look at this again in slow motion, there's absolutely no doubt as to what caused this.
That's right, Steve. It lost the front wing. In other words, the front wing slipped back and the car took off just like a plane would do. It was completely out of control. There was absolutely nothing he could do with it.
So that front foil is supposed to provide downforce. Instead, it was just the opposite.
That front wing is as important as the rear to keep the car stable.
Now we move on to the 1989 Cajun Nationals. And if you've got small children, you might want to hide their eyes on this one. Look at the near lane. Oh, that is R.C. Sherman. And when it was all over, that was still R.C. Sherman. He did not get hurt in that accident.
Couldn't keep the car out of the left guardrail. And then once it hit the left guardrail, then it was out of control. And I remembered, the last thing I remember was seeing the right guardrail coming. When I look out of the windshield, I saw the right guardrail coming straight at me, and I knew I was flying. And I said, this isn't going to be pretty. And then I don't remember a thing after
You were
that.
in the far lane against Don Gay Jr. We were both a little too close to this incident.
We sure were. And this one I'll long remember. And so will Don Gay Jr. The car bounced off the guardrail. I could see him out the corner of my eye that he was in trouble. But I didn't think it was that big a deal, Steve. I pulled it out the end of the course, and by the time I got out of my car, he was completely engulfed in fire.
When you got out of your car, Don, I was standing down there, I lived down there, and you said, "Where's Don Gay?" And I pointed at the car right about this point, and you started to run to it.
My main concern is the man was still in the car, and all I could think about is, by God, let's get him out.
And then a fire bottle exploded. And his home track, Sears Point, with a good points lead, and had a big advantage over Jim Head.
And broke a wing strut. The wing actually came forward and lost all downforce on the rear of the car, and it just flew.
Hornsby tucked down as tight as he could get into that roll cage. Nothing separating his helmet from the pavement but a thin piece of tubing. Gary Hornsby was okay. That car, they spent $30,000 on a brand new car, went to Brainerd, Minnesota, and trashed in.
It was in a power wheel stand. He was out of control at that point, Steve. The car just went off to the left, hit that guardrail, came over the right, as you can see. Poor
between Jason Hamster and Josh Hernandez will take on Todd Tutterell in the World Championship battle for the belts. And Jason Hamster crushes the wall. We'll just hold our collective breaths here till we get word from the far end of the racetrack. NASCAR.com instant replay. 57 Chevrolet looks good. Camaro makes a little move to the right. Jason, suddenly that baby just makes a move right in front of the National Guard car. Hearts are flying everywhere. And man, all you can do is hope and pray that this kid is okay. Man, that one will take your breath away as he hits that wall. Man, that is as hard a crash as I have ever seen. And Joshua Hernandez, by the way, first one to the scene, is a former police officer, and I'm sure has been to the scene, Altucci, of many horrible crashes. And I think he sees right that this thing's got some severity to it.
There's no question that Jason Hamster hit the wall hard. In fact, Josh Hernandez, who was the first one to him, knew immediately that Jason Hamster was unconscious. Now, he did regain consciousness and was immediately taken by Life Flight helicopter to the nearest hospital for observation, but he was awake and indeed was conscious when he left the Texas Motorplex. Meanwhile, one can only thank Jim Geese and the crew at Vanishing Point Race Cars for building the machine that no doubt saved Jason Hamster's life.
The National Guard ADRL always puts on a show for the fans, but one of the best things about this series is that they treat each driver and crew member like family. When Jason Hamster had a terrifying wreck, the entire ADRL family converged around him and did everything they could to help Jason and his team. Because of the wreck, the ADRL officials decided to postpone the final rounds of the Speed Tech battle for the belts until the next day. With the sun shining on a new day, Brett Kepner caught up with one very fortunate driver, Jason Hamster.
With racing suspended for the evening after that crash, obviously all thoughts and concerns were aimed squarely at Jason Hamster's well-being. Imagine everybody's shock when 12 hours later, he returns to the racetrack without any broken bones. Now, don't kid yourself, he's sore, but what a night.
Yeah, it was pretty rough for us. You know, we were in the battle for the bolts. We were trying to get the job done, but, you know, it just didn't happen for us. And just glad I'm not hurt too much worse than I am.
Well, certainly everybody feels the same way, but the big question is, you had a chance to watch the videotape. Any idea exactly what happened?
No, I really don't know what happened. It just kind of washed out on me when I went across the finish line, you know. I really don't know why it did it. It freaked me out. I remember it just before I hit the wall, and I just had no idea why the car did that.
Well, like I said, it's astonishing that you're here. Certainly a credit to the safety of the Vanishing Point race car chassis, but no matter what, above and beyond any damage done to the car, everybody's just pleased that you're back and okay.
Yeah, thanks. Me too.
Pull it towards you and Jason, there you go. There you go. Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's get this one.
and safety crew, the gate is open. That is a very, very nasty accident there for Rocky Rahayan. Looking at the times, not that they matter, obviously our thoughts are with Rocky Rahayan at the moment. 7:72 for Cody Fun, that will reset the record.
Get out of the car!
All the way. That car is just going to the 20 days. All the is just going on. Going out.
What in the world is moving the company? Coming out the back of the
Got ahead of that car. What a blaze in the start line. Wow. What spot of almost looks like you put a jet car back on the racetrack. Goodness gracious, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, good as you go all the way out of the car. How about a round of applause? Start line 4 years ago. Talk about how the strong not going. So we go right in there, that's the start of Next up on the line, you go all the way down to the car. Exactly what they did. Wow.
A little too much excitement.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
I'll tell you what.
Okay, everybody shut up!
Awesome job, fire safety. Talk about response quickly. Not leaving long. Stop that about 30 seconds. Oh, and I know it's funny when you see them down. Jump out of the production. Third row. Hopefully, jump on top. Well, you know, I call it like.
Alright? Hey, give me one more water. Fucking trashed either way. I know, but we'll start with the phone. I don't want to play with the goddamn thing. Wheelie bars. I don't know if we can. Which way is it? See if you can pull the 125 out from underneath. It's in the back. It's coming out the back. Alright, hang on. Is it here still? Here, can I move it backwards? Who's behind? Wait.
He did everything right. All I can think of is the manifold wasn't sealed up, not enough time.
Jacob, that's good right there.
Yeah, come on back because it's going to be a good hour cleanup. Yeah, he's all right. All right, I'll see you down here.
Still hot, hold it on the rollback. Let's just douse it with cold water. Just use the water can and let's cool it off. Hold on, mate. Let me get the juices off and take this whole one clip off. There's juice coolers in the trunk. Just water, that's all we're doing.
Well, Joe, why don't you tell us what happened?
Well, on these nitrous cars, we do something that's called a motor purge or booming the motor. It's where we activate the nitrous systems just for a split second. Well, first one went good. Second one, it backfired the motor. Obviously, something went wrong on that second one. We're not sure what. We still have to investigate that. But it ended up backfiring the motor, blew the top of the intake off, broke a fuel line, and then the fuel started on fire, and the rest is history because it just engulfed the whole car in fire, in a big fireball.
It certainly happened fast. I mean, that fuel is coming out, and I understand that the fire was going back along the side a little bit, and they couldn't even really get to the battery shut off quickly enough.
No, it totally engulfed that side of the car. Looking at the pictures, within 3 seconds, and the battery shut off is on the right side. And the way the wind was blowing, it was just blowing it along the right side of the car, so they couldn't get to it.
So with the battery on and the pump still pumping,
yep,
it just kept going.
It just kept feeding the fire, and I was just trying to get out of the car at that point.
Thank goodness you got out. I assume you didn't get any singeing, or?
No, I got a little bit on my face, but I'm okay. Yeah. Breathed a little bit of the bad smoke, but it's okay.
Well, the most important part of these kinds of things is being able to walk away. Yeah. Climb out, roll on the ground, walk away.
Yeah, like a friend of mine said, I'm vertical and taking nourishment today. I'm doing good.
Yeah, that's really all it is. Well, Joe, I hope you put this thing back together or something and come out and visit us, because you're great to have around. Car
Thanks.
Always runs good, looks good, doesn't look like everybody else's car.
Yeah, thanks. We will. We're going to put it back together.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. Well, you take it easy.
All right, thanks.
You had a tough weekend.
It wasn't fun.
No.
Part of it was fun. That part was not.
Jetzt beginnt der Plymouth zu qualmen, verliert deutlich an Fahrt und gerät ins Schleudern. Sekunden später ist der Rettungsdienst zur Stelle. Minuten später wird ausgelaufenes Öl gebunden. Auf der Strecke finden sich Motorteile. Links oben gut zu erkennen, ein Stück Nockenwelle. Fehlersuche im Fahrerlager. Von oben sieht alles normal aus an diesem Motor, der 40.000 Mark gekostet hat, ohne Arbeitsstunden. Doch von unten wird's deutlich. Ein Zylinder ist explodiert und dabei wurde fast die gesamte Ölwanne aufgerissen. Damit Sie Unglücken.
Ja, dann müsste mir schon das Geld ausgehen.
Besteht die Gefahr?
Nein, aber ich werde sicher eine Zeit lang brauchen, um das wieder verdauen zu können. Ne? Das ist sicher.
Whoa, he spun around, got the ball and rolled it over on top end, got a fire up there. George Williams, that beautiful Camaro. Got the fire truck up there. Got the ambulance out there and the fire truck both moving. Yeah, got sideways and started rolling. Drivers out of it. Drivers out of the car. Good deal, folks. Shut them all on. There you go. Wayne saw him stop his car and he got out.